What looks like a really calm, chill, easy Sunday could be actually the calm before the storm, because tomorrow the new week of Calciomercato is starting, Calciomercato week 2. And if in the first week we were already able to sign our first player, Jonathan David, well, the second week could be the week of Sancho plus Conceicao. Yes, you heard me well, I said plus, not or this or that. Because if the Englishman is pushing to actually speak with Juve about his salary, well, Juve is pushing with Porto to reduce the value that Porto is requesting for the Portuguese player of 22 years. This week could also be the first week where we will see some problems arriving at Juve. Weston McKennie possibly in doubt for season 25-26, and then more and more difficulties to sign a player like Kolo Muani because the requests of Paris Saint-Germain are quite high. We'll speak about that and much more in today's video. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel, I hope you're all doing well. Before starting about speaking about Juve, let me come back on what happened yesterday, because yesterday I was honored and I was super pleased to participate in what could be potentially the future of football, something that I really believe in, because on the Telegram channel of DAZN FIFA Club World Cup I was able to do a watch along, but not a standard one. It was a watch along while showing the game. You were able to watch the game, me in a little corner speaking about the game with a lot of emotion, neutral fan of course, but doing it with a lot of passion for the love of the game, but especially interacting real life with all the people that were commenting in the Telegram group. So thank you for all the people that were there, the people that pushed it, like Pueblo Juve, like Mohamed El Shahali. Thank you for all the support, guys, Saraz, etc, etc. It was really beautiful to see your interaction. I really believe that it's the future of football. How beautiful would it be one day to be able on television to check the normal game with a professional commentating without their faces, or going with your preferred YouTuber, streamer that is able actually to interact together with you on your phone, choosing the language that we want. That would be really beautiful. So thank you for that. The Club World Cup is absolutely not over. 3 games to play, semi-finals between Chelsea and Fluminense, and then we see the other teams, Paris Saint-Germain against Real Madrid. I was looking online on OneFootball about the latest news about the Club World Cup. You know that it's the thing to do. If you didn't, please, the link is in the description. Do the same as I do, looking every morning to the latest news, and I was able to see that Neuer Manuel was criticizing Donnarumma for that huge big, can we say, foul or intervention on Musiala. All my respect for Musiala, and hopefully he can come back really soon, because the injury is huge. Young player, beautiful player, fantastic player that just came back, and he was again starting for the very first time after such a long time. Well, bad luck, really bad luck, because the injury was really horrible. I totally don't agree with Neuer. Look, Donnarumma is trying to cover the ball. He touched the player, he takes the player with him. Unfortunately, big injury, but I was absolutely not agree. So if you didn't yet, please download the app of OneFootball. You can also find it here or here with the QR code, because that's the place to go for all the news, but also all the results. Club World Cup, but also national team of women that are playing the Euro. All the news there in the description. Is totally for free, so do it now to support OneFootball, to support the channel, because it's a beautiful partnership. I love it. Now we go to the Juve news with Corriere dello Sport. They saying Sancho subito, immediately Sancho. Juve si può, it is possible. Now it's over between United and Sancho. We know it. There are a few players that are out of the team by the Red Devils. They say no, we don't want them to be there at the first day of training session. Amorim has other plans, and that could be a really beautiful assist for Juve. Sancho is pushing. We know it. He started with a request of a bit more than 8 million euro that he wanted even to reduce, speaking with Juve. Now what they are speaking about are the bonuses that are still quite high and too easy to achieve according to Juve for the Englishman. 20, 25, 30 million euro could be one of these. Looking Juve side, they are looking for 20. Looking Manchester United side, they are looking for 30. But with a player that is actually in his last year of contract that they want to put out, Juventus is quite sure to actually being sure to decrease that requesting price. The week that is about to come, starting tomorrow, could really be decisive. Now, what I told you since the beginning, because I know it's a huge, big debate, we prefer Conceicao, we want Chico. It's a player that is younger than him. It's a player that already showed beautiful things with Juve. It's a player that is also appreciated, like we saw in the Club World Cup, by Igor Tudor. A lot of people said, no, we want to keep Chico Conceicao. Why I always told you, I don't believe that if Juventus can choose, they would go for or Sancho or Chico. If they could do it, they would go for both of the players. And today, Gianni Balzarini from Sport Mediaset was confirming it on his YouTube channel, but also Tuttosport is saying Sancho plus Conceicao. Juventus is studying if they are able to do it. There is one condition if you want to go for both of them. First, that Sancho is decreasing the request of the salary. Second, that Porto is open to actually not going for the close, but finding a creative formula, maybe splitting over some years. And then the third one, and that's probably the most crucial one, that Nico Gonzalez is sold this summer. He's on the market. This is something that I can confirm you. The first voices, the unofficial voices of him being on the market has now been confirmed. I can tell you that. So Nico Gonzalez is on the market. Will he find a team? I don't know. And that's where I really want to tell you, it's not sure that Sancho and Conceicao will be there. It's not sure that Nico Gonzalez will be sold. It's not sure that both of the players will be there. We have no certainties, but that's the plan of Juve, at least in the beginning of the Mercato, to have Sancho and Conceicao and selling the Argentinian player. Tuttosport is saying 100 gol per la Juve. And why are we speaking a lot about offensive players and not yet that much about defenders? It's because Juventus, they identified a huge big problem, something that we already knew, because we are able to read stats. We have so much information at disposal. Juventus is not scoring goals. Juventus is not scoring enough goals, especially if we are comparing to other teams that are winning the leagues in the last few years. Look at the last years in Serie A only, so not all competition. 58 goals scored by Juve, 54 the year before, 56 before, 57 before. In the last 4 seasons, Juventus was never able in Serie A to go over the 60 goals. And then if you're looking at all the years before the winning Juve, we can see 77 with Pirlo, even if we didn't win the league, but we had a Cristiano Ronaldo, 76, 70, 86, 77, 75, 72, 80, 71, and 68 was the lowest one in season 11-12, the first year of the Scudetto with Antonio Conte. Looks like we are back if you're looking at the statistics of the season where we always finished 7 in 10-11 and 9-10 with 57 and 55 goals scored. So Juventus, they said we need to score more, especially with the ultra offensive, with the offensive football that Igor Tudor has in mind. This is what we want to do. So not only Jonathan David, this is a promise that we are making here. Now, I don't really believe the voices that are saying the idea of Comoli is to have 3 strikers. Jonathan David, Osimhen, and Kolo Muani, the 3 strikers plus 4 offensive wingers that are Conceicao, Yildiz, Koopmeiners, and Sancho. According to me, this is impossible. It will not happen, because or you change way of playing with 2 strikers, and then why not having 2? Because you can rotate between Osimhen, Jonathan David, Kolo Muani, Osimhen. You can rotate there, and why not having 3 strikers? Then you need 3 strikers, 3 good strikers, because don't forget that we are playing Serie A, Coppa Italia, and Champions League. But then you don't need 4 offensive wingers if you play that 3-4-2-1, because where do you play them? You can play potentially with the number 10. Number 10. Otherwise, you create a really unbalanced team, which is not possible. So I believe 2 strikers plus 4 offensive wingers, yes. And also, if you're speaking about money, which is the most important thing, I don't believe that you have money enough for Osimhen and Kolo Muani on top of already Jonathan David. So forget about that. But Kolo Muani, are we sure that he's staying? We remember that press conference of Comoli that said, look, we are sure, we can promise you that he will be with us for the Club World Cup, which happened. And after that, we are quite confident, positive that we can continue, we can resume the talk with Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain is still in the competition, so at the moment they have other ideas. But Kolo Muani, thanks to his beautiful performances in Serie A with Thiago Motta first and then with Igor Tudor, beautiful performances at the Club World Cup, well, there are a lot of clubs that are interested in him, like, for example, Chelsea, that is pushing to actually have immediately money on the table for Paris Saint-Germain. Paris, that is saying to you, good guys, we are happy to sell him. We are happy to let him go to you. He's happy there. Why not? We know that the player has a preference to stay in Bianconero, so why not? But our requests are easy. Or we sell him immediately to you, and then we can eventually discuss a bit, because you are paying immediately. The initial request is 50 million euro, which is a lot. 50 million euro is really a lot, but we know that a few seasons ago they signed him for 90 million, if I'm not wrong, from Germany. So 50 million euro. we can discuss a bit because you pay him immediately. We can go to 45, 43, something like that, not less. Or we can loan him an extra year, but then it's really with an obligation to buy. And then we don't want to discuss too much about that initial requesting price. Then it's 50 because on top of that you have him on loan. If you want to pay partially already 5, 8 million, we can decrease it from the total price, but 50 is the general thing, which Juventus at the moment, they don't want to put on the table. I told you they are looking at all the different opportunities, and Osimhen is still a name that they are monitoring. I tell you, Osimhen would be totally madness if you're looking at all the things that we need to do. But also there, like for Sancho and Conceicao, well, for Kolo Muani and for Osimhen, we have first a problem to fix, and that problem is named Dusan Vlahovic. Dusan Vlahovic, that according to Gazzetta dello Sport, and look at them. Again, without sure, they couldn't wait. They couldn't wait for the summer. Every time that there is a player that is potentially in trouble, well, they put him without shirt. What and why, I have absolutely no idea, but we all remember Lukaku close to Juve without shirt. Well, now it's the turn of Dusan Vlahovic. That is a rebus, according to Gazzetta dello Sport. Juventus will meet the agent this week, so also decisive week for the Serbian player. There is a possibility, and one of the only possibilities, because there are not a lot of offers for the number 9 of Juve, there is the possibility of Milan. Milan is resisting, but on that case, he will need to actually decrease his salary request. Will this happen with Juventus that is stopping the contract of Dusan, actually to pay him an exit bonus? What they are actually trying to do also with Sancho, it's a bit the same strategy. So paying a bit of his salary so that at least the last year is matched. For example, he accepts 7 million euro from Milan. Let's say like that, 7 million euro for Milan, where Juventus is putting the difference, 5 million for 1 year. Can be. That's what Juventus is trying to see, if possible or not. Milan, they cannot go for 12 million. They don't want to go for 12 million. And that's why they are also looking for other striker at the moment. Dusan Vlahovic had other contact with Allegri. Allegri that is pushing for him in case it would flop. They are also interested in look at that in terms of salary, but also in terms of salary, which be much lower than Dusan Vlahovic. Juventus, they already communicated to Douglas Luiz, from Dusan Vlahovic to Douglas Luiz, that is not part of the project, that he can go and look for another club. For Douglas Luiz, and that's the huge big difference with Dusan, there are a lot of clubs interested in the player. There is Everton, there is Fulham, and also there is Manchester United. I tell you, divide, split, it's not a part of the Sancho deal, but Manchester United, again, interested in the player. They were already interested in the player in the winter. They're still on the player. So pay attention for that one, because he's a player that still has a value and that could leave. You will tell me, Beppe, but was it not the moment to give him another chance? Looks like no, because Juventus, if you're looking at the midfielders that they are looking for, they're absolutely not looking for a player like Douglas Luiz. They're looking for a really strong defensive midfielder, one that can really filter the line, giving more space for Kefren Thuram. This is what we understood in the latest weeks. Now, Weston McKennie, what is his position at Juve? We know it. He had the promise from Cristiano Giuntoli last summer that this summer, after an entire year, they would go back and speaking for a salary 3.5, a bit more, a bit less, but especially with bonuses. Weston McKennie, he believes that he did everything to deserve immediately that, and that we stopped talking like every summer about you deserve it, you don't deserve it, you deserve it, you don't deserve it. But in that 3-4-2-1, Weston McKennie will have some difficulties to find a starting role, and this is the huge big question. Juventus, they would love to even give 4 million euro to Weston, but only if he's a starter, and they don't consider him a starter in the way of playing 3-4-2-1, because yes, he can play as a left back potentially, but we have no left backs anymore. You remember with Thiago Motta, he can play on the wing, yeah, but he's not a winger. He could play potentially as a mezzala, but we don't play with mezzala, so we have a big problem there, which Juventus is considering Weston McKennie a fantastic, beautiful joker. But can we pay actually that money to a joker? Juventus is considering that. Juventus is also taking into account that some sales needs to be done, and Weston McKennie, after I believe 4 years at Juve, would be total plusvalenza, only profit. You know it, Bangula is on the market, only profit. Well, Weston McKennie could be also a big profit, so between 15 and 20 million euro. USA boy, Texas boy could potentially leave. Latest news about the defense, well, Olympique Marseille made it clear again with another statement that Balerdi is not for sale. Will they at a certain moment say, okay, we cannot resist anymore, the player wants to leave? We don't know at today, but at the moment he is not on the market. And even if Tim Weah is really close to join l'équipe de Marseille, l'Olympique de Marseille, it's not in the deal for Balerdi. I think that for Sunday you have a lot of information. If something happens in the afternoon, I will come back with a second video. Otherwise, I'm counting on you for a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe and especially to comment. Grazie, forza, Juve.